Hello and welcome back to the OATI Energy Conference 2024 in Las Vegas. I'm John Engel, Editor-in-Chief of DISTRIBUTECH and Power Grid International, joined by my friend Ali Ipakchi, the Chief Visionary Officer for OATI. Ali, it's been great to be here and hear the conversations that your team is having with your customers, especially because they're so candid. They're very open about, here are the challenges we're facing with the energy transition. Based on what you've heard and who you've been talking to, what are some of those emerging themes that you think will carry your work and innovation into the next year?
I think the industry has come to a realization that the integration of demand side and distributed resources with bulk power operation is a reality that they have to basically live, and that's the way power system going to operate in the future. A few years back, that concept was kind of perhaps a type of thing. But now we are hearing from across the board, from reliability folks, from bulk power trading folks and whatnot, that they see the value of it and they believe in it. And an example of it is that in sessions that we have had today and even yesterday that we talk about distribution side, we have a whole lot of folks coming in from transmission reliability, market operations, or others attending those sessions to hear more and learn more about those activities, which is very exciting. And I'm very pleased to see that.
I think your title says a lot about you as a person and as a thinker, because you are this Chief Visionary Officer. You are this kind of oracle for OATI to think about what's coming and where is the industry going. And you're hinting on this realization that the industry is having about the unsiloing of these divisions. You've been talking about this for years. Where do you think we're going next? What is that 10-year kind of tentpole that you're looking at?
What I see, let me put a context around it. Everybody talking about, we're going to have vast amount of data. We're going to have complexity in the resources and type of customers, etc. But we are also seeing indications that some of the emerging technologies, especially AI and machine learning, going to be very critical to take away some of those complexities and provide the level of information and comfort that folks need to operate the systems. And it is not that straightforward. There are a lot of details involved in it, so it may take a few years, but early indications of the technology and the type of things it can do very much showing a very promising path for utilizing information, but using some of the advanced machine learning and AI techniques to demystify some of those things and provide the type of information folks need to operate the grid reliably and economically.
Well, and it's not just that we need more data, we need better data too. And so just as we gather all that, even at the point of consumption, we talk about, AMI data. You're going to collect a lot more data. You don't need to ship it all back to the utility. You need to ship back a better package of data to the utility. How are you guys thinking about that at OATI in terms of utilities, one, need these AI and machine learning tools, and two, they're ready for them? Because you talk about introducing those tools into the market, there is still kind of the walk before we run mentality.
There are two aspects, what you just commented. One is the ability to do edge processing. In other words, not just shifting volumes of data up to the utilities headquarters for them to process. There is lots can be done at the edge of the grid. And so basically do some processing, some intelligent operations, so to send the data that is needed to be consumed at the grid level. But at the same time, the fact that process is more complex and human being can only, at any given time, kind of think about so many moving parts. Being able to correlate information, be able to bring all that data into a form that shows the causality and the actions needed to be taken based on the rules and operational requirements that there is. These machine learning and these capabilities can be very helpful Furthermore, in the past, running the grid was very much driven by some analytical models and whatnot. And then these days, folks feel that some of those models, because of the growth of demand-side resources and diversity of those and whatnot, becoming less effective. However, using machine learning rather than just mathematical equations, let the machine learn those relationships and then replace some of those mathematics that they don't have enough data for formulating those. Maybe I'm going too deep, but there is a lot of value there that they can leverage. So we are very optimistic about it.
So there's the data piece. And then I think too about OATI's role in the market. You make software that makes the grid work, like it's actual grid operation. So how and when will we see AI tools being deployed for the actual, management and operation of the grid? Because I know that that's the space where utilities go, I don't know if I'm ready for that yet. They'll do a chatbot to communicate with a customer, but are they ready for grid operations?
Well, there are certain aspects that are low-hanging fruit. For example, forecasting. The forecasting in the past, for example, generation forecasting. Generation was very predictable. You dispatch the power plant, and power plant operated based on your dispatch signal. Now you got wind and solar. They are dependent whether wind is blowing or cloud cover is there or not, and how the clouds are moving. So there are things that are uncontrollable, undispatchable. And so there is a need for improved forecasting. So some of these AI techniques can certainly in short run help in improved forecasting, some of the needs for having look-ahead situational awareness of what they are faced with. Some other low-hanging fruit are in terms of, for example, training and helping folks to understand existing rules and operations. There are some complexities, but using some of these more advanced AI to be able to have natural language interactions with the folks to ask questions and provide information. Longer haul is to replace some of the operational reliability constraints and more complex things with the machine learning and those capabilities. That may be in 5 years, maybe 10 years time frame. However, the shorter term forecasting and some of the more basically automating help information, automating training capabilities and whatnot, AI can be very helpful.
Yeah, and a lot of that is already happening.
Happening. The capabilities are there, but the industry has not adopted it yet.
Speaking of what the industry has not adopted yet, what do you think are some of the things that we're missing or not talking about enough in the context of the energy transition?
I think some of the barriers are the industry traditionally has been a fairly conservative industry, and not only cybersecurity is an issue, but also changes not mandated by regulators was considered a non-starter, and so as a result, getting out of the normal practice and doing new things, it has become a little bit of a kind of a stepping outside of the norm of the industry. However, being able to demonstrate that some of those existing requirements are being followed, utilizing new technology, that is something that we are trying to do. In other words, information privacy, cybersecurity, access to capabilities and data, who owns what data and what you can do with it, type of things. We are very cognizant of those and how to apply the AI and modern technology to this information to achieve the goals we are talking.
OATI made an early bet to provide this end-to-end solution instead of having these modular products or doing something well and leaving the rest to the market. What's interesting about the DERMS market is that you do have other players that are trying to just do one thing really well. We do thermostats really well, or we support OEMs, or managed charging. Why did OATI say the enterprise solution, especially for DERMS, is what utilities need to get from both power and markets all the way to the edge?
In long haul, maintaining many disparate systems and having them kind of operate in concert with each other is a tall order. It's not that easy. And what you're commenting is a reflection of in the past, the industry was siloed, and then different practices were focused on their own space and their own silo. OATI from onset came in with this model that we're going to use advanced technology to solve the industry's problem. About 10 years ago or so, we saw the emergence of demand-side and distributed resources and its value and impact on the overall power system operations. And at that time, we kind of looked at in long haul, you have to bring these things together. You cannot divorce the commercial operation from reliability and grid operations. And being able to tie those together is a very essential part of the operation. So that has been our practice from onset. Early on, 6-7 years ago, we were criticized that you are creating complexity that's not needed because it's still they operated in a silo fashion. But in recent past, we are seeing very positive reception from the industry, being able to bring these pieces together.
OATI has a really robust R&D department too, and I know that line item continues to grow for you guys. Probably your fault in going to Sasan, your CEO, and saying we need to try this or we can innovate here. Maybe give us a little peek into what you guys are working on and what we might be able to expect in the future.
The list is long. However, I think the whole issue of being able to bring IT and OT activities together. This is the control center, grid operations, and commercial side of the operation in a horizontal fashion, but also in a vertical fashion, tie the demand side operations with the bulk power operation and the reliability grid. This is at a very high level. However, because of the complexity of these things, use of decision supports, how to simplify what we were talking earlier, how to not literally do these things in a brute force fashion, but do it in a manner that not overcomplicating the problem is some of our goal. And then the earlier discussion regarding look ahead forecasting, look ahead situational awareness, for example. That is a simple statement, look ahead situational awareness. But in reality, it has a lot of things in detail involved there. You have to have an accurate load forecast. To have an accurate load forecast, you have to know what kind of EVs connected to the system. You got to know what the rooftop solars are operating. You got to know how customers operating, etc. So there are a lot of details down below. At the wholesale level, you have wind generators and solar farms. You got to know what the conditions are and how much capabilities coming from that. And then when you're looking at the look ahead situational awareness, you have to bring all these elements together. But you have to present it in a manner that is simple and can be digested.
I love winding you up because I know you love talking about this stuff, and it's very obvious. Ali Ipakchi, thanks so much for joining me.
Thank you very much, John. My pleasure.